This is Scott Spears, and today we remember the First Lady of Comedy, Phyllis Diller, who has passed away at age 95. Phyllis was a groundbreaker in the world of stand-up comedy. With her fright wigs and raucous laugh, she was an American treasure. She guested on this program over 20 times and did her last public interview with me on this program 1 month ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Joining us to remember her is a legend and a good friend of Phyllis's, the very smart, urbane icon in this country, Dr. Maya Angelou. Dr. Angelou, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm missing Phyllis.
How can you not?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was wonderful. How did you hear of her passing?
From the television. It snatched my breath away. Because I guess we talked about, it's been some months, but we had whenever we talked, it was as if we'd seen each other the day before.
Now, I don't know if people equate Dr. Maya Angelou and Phyllis Diller. How did that relationship come about?
Oh, we started together at the Purple Onion in 1955 or 54, something like that. And we made friends then, and we kept our friendship. We liked each other and found each other good company and just good people. We wanted to be friends, and we made friends, and we kept it. She sent me a painting, one of her pieces, just a couple of years ago, and I had sent her some books of mine, just to keep her in the know and to keep me up to what she was doing.
How good was she? Because those were the early days for her at the Purple Onion.
She was fabulous. And it was my beginning, too. I mean, as a singer, I had been a dancer. But I couldn't make a living dancing. So I could make a living singing. And we were both absolute newcomers. But there were so many people. We all started Mart Saul, the Kingston Trio, all sorts of people who later became very famous, Barbra Streisand.
You know, Dr. Angelou, there is something I've been thinking about since I heard Phyllis's passing. A lot of people in show business have a type. There was never a Phyllis Diller type. There was just Phyllis Diller. You couldn't replicate it.
No. There was no one else.
What was that about her that was just so unreplicatable?
Well, she was daring. She dared to be herself. She thought she was funny. She was right about it, and she dared to be funny. And she never thought of herself as beautiful ever. And she said even when she was young, she was not a cute child. So she used that. She dared to make herself even physically ugly. That is, the fright wigs and the big open mouth laughter and the almost cat-calling kind of laughter. So she dared to do that to get people to laugh. And she liked it when she could make people laugh. When she came off stage and the people were still clapping, we would both shake hands and hug each other. Because when I came off the stage, if they were still applauding, we would just hug and say, did it. Did it.
When you and Phyllis would speak in later years, what were the tenor of the conversations?
Still laughing, still amazed that we're still here, amazed that we were still putting out, as it were, singing or writing or making people laugh. I saw a television piece with her and a date. And I think the date was surprised that his date was going to be Phyllis Diller. So, it was a television spoof. And she told me how much she loved doing it. And just getting laughs. She still loved it.
You know, Maya, what is it about comedians? They seem to live a long life. Phyllis, 95, George Burns, 100, Bob Hope, 100. What do you think that is?
Laughter is healing. In the Judeo-Christian Bible, we are told that a cheerful spirit is good medicine. And so if you can manage to laugh as much as possible and even cause other people to laugh, maybe you things get healed that you didn't even know were sick or broken in your body.
You know, there's nobody in the world who I could think better to ask this question of. Reports yesterday were that when Phyllis Diller she died at home peacefully. When they found her, when her son found her, she had a smile on her face. What do you make of that?
Well, I think probably knowing Phyllis Diller and the humor of the Creator, probably Phyllis Diller had a smile on her face when she was born. Very likely. I mean, how could a person at 35 or thereabouts decide she was going to get up on the stage and make people laugh by calling her husband Fang? Oh, no. She left with a smile, and she'd probably come with a smile, too.
Maya, what's your favorite memory of her? Do you have one that sticks out in your head?
Well, we got together in Los Angeles. We had started our friendship in San Francisco. And then she went down to Los Angeles first. And I went down later, and I was in a nightclub. And when we saw each other, we hadn't planned on it. We simply ran into each other. And you would have thought two sisters had been separated at birth and found each other. We fell into each other's arms. We laughed at nothing and cried at nothing, just happy to be together. And I remember that. I remember it was on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. And I was going shopping. And there she was. And I know that people looked at us. We weren't famous then, neither of us. So they just saw this tall black woman and this rather short white woman. And she didn't have a fright wig on. She just looked like a normal person. And they must have thought, who on earth? What on earth? Why are they so happy? That's, I guess, the sweetest memory. But any time I was with her, it was good.
You know, Dr. Angelou, when somebody passes, we often ask, how is somebody going to be remembered? Phyllis Diller was obviously a trailblazer for women in stand-up comedy. She was a trailblazer, I think, for all men.
Yes.
Yeah. How is she going to be remembered?
Well, people will remember certain things. Some will remember her fright wigs and the big laughter. Some will remember her incredible, bizarre clothes. But what I think what is most memorable is her courage. Her courage to be there on the stage alone. Nothing between her and absolute failure except her wit. Her courage, her wit. And that's just, I mean, it's wonderful to have it, to have had it. The one thing that keeps me from being, I've been sad, and I have had my tears and all of that since I heard of Phyllis's death. But I tell you, what has brought me back to an even keel is we had her. We did have her. Just imagine, had there not been a Phyllis Diller, then what on earth would have happened to Ellen DeGeneres and so many of the women, Rosie? What would have happened? Would they have dared? I don't know. But and the times when people would come out to hear a comedian because they're having trouble at home or some medical situation, and she just made you laugh. And then she would go with Bob Hope. She would go and stand in front of 5,000 soldiers and make them laugh. I mean, cold and wet and and in danger, putting their lives on the line, and she'd make them laugh.
Very well said. And how is Dr. Maya Angelou, the friend of Phyllis Diller since the 1950s, going to remember her?
Dearly, with appreciation. I have an attitude of gratitude. I'm glad that we were friends.
It's a sad passing.
It is.
It's just something there'll never be, and we say this a lot when people leave us, but there'll never be another Phyllis Diller.
No. That's all right.
Yeah. Dr. Maya Angelou, I thank you so much for joining me today. I express my condolences to you, and we're going to miss her for a long time, but we've got a lot of tapes to remember her by.
I thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.